What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Goodol'boys channel. Today we have some faulty brake switches that we're going to be dealing with. Here are the hours and the miles. So we already know we're talking about the Hawk250 here, so I'll show you guys what's going on. Front brake switch here. You guys can see I had to unplug this because our switch has broken here, as you can see. Now, of course, on the rear, it has this brake switch that's also manual. You can see there's rust in there and corrosion, and the contacts have just went bad in this one here. So we're going to be getting rid of it as well. You can see we have some new brake switches that we're going to be going over here in a minute. So I've went ahead and taken the side plastic off so we can just get right into the video here. So first of all, we're going to be looking at this area back here. We're no longer going to be needing this brake switch, so we'll remove that. Now, I do need a rear spring for the brake. Little nose pliers. Just going to pull this up here and over that like that. You do have a metal wire tie back here, so you need to bend that up out of the way. And then up here, I've already went ahead and checked this connector out. I bought switches that have this exact same connector. The connector is actually exactly the same. So if I go to plug the new sensor in, it actually plugs right in and we're not going to have any problems. So you need to find your brake cylinder here. You need to take this bolt out. Okay, guys, so this is the bolt that came out of there. It looks like a coarser thread, so this is going to be a M10 by 1.25. Alrighty, guys, so I ordered a couple different brake switches here. Only difference is the threads. So we have an M10 by 1.25 and M10 by 1. So this would be the fine thread, this would be the coarse thread, and you guys can obviously see that the coarse thread, the M10 by 1.25, is what we're going to be going with here. So you're going to get a sensor with the correct connector on there, as you can see, and you're also going to get a couple new washers with rubber seals. So in order to do this correctly, make sure everything's clean. We take and put one washer onto our new sensor here, put the sensor through this rear brake line, and then put this last washer on here like that on the bottom side. So it's going to be easiest just to take this elbow, get it off there. You can kind of hold your wire up out of the way like I'm doing here, and then just kind of spin it around like this. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just spinning the wire as I'm spinning the sensor. These manual sensors are great because they're simple, but the problem with them is they get salt water in them, they get water corrosion, and they stop working. So that's an issue. Now these, of course, are not all sunshines and rainbows either. These go off of hydraulic pressure, so you can have the switch even go bad in these, but it's less likely. The main issue with these is that since they're seeing all this pressure from the brake lines, it could potentially leak. So obviously it's something we'll be checking for once we get this all buttoned up. Okay, doesn't have to be too tight. You just want to snug it down real good. I'm going to route the wire the way I want it routed. So what we're going to have to do is take this wire and put it on the outside of the frame like this. Then we can go back inside for this wire clip or wire tie here. And that keeps it well away from the exhaust. And then as we work our way up the line here, we'll plug this in. Before we plug this in, we're going to put some dielectric grease on the connection. It's a tip for you guys that are getting new Hawks. Always take some dielectric grease and put it on the connection. This is what it looks like. You know, mud, water, whatever can get down in there. So you need to do everything you can to prevent that from happening, which dielectric grease helps, because you know, obviously these connectors are not waterproof or mud proof. All right, so now we can hook that back up. Just something I thought I'd throw in here. Never throw out your original bolts. You never know if one of these things is gonna start leaking. I'd much rather have brakes and no brake lights than have no brakes at all and no brake lights. So we're going to just keep the extra bolt, put it with my extra Hawk parts, and we'll have it if we ever need it. So you guys can kind of see how I have that wire routed. Hopefully you can hear me. So the rear brake line's good. The last thing you're going to want to do here is bleed the brakes, which I've already shown that in some other videos. So I actually did this in the maintenance video, maintenance you've never thought of. So I'll link that video in the description box below if you guys are needing to figure out how to bleed your brakes. All right, so the rear brake switch is all situated. You can see it's working. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the front brake. So the front brake is more the same, and we have a hydraulic switch, so it's going to be going in line right here. So once again, it's going to take the 12mm wrench. So unfortunately, guys, this is just part of changing this kind of stuff out. It's just going to leak sometimes. So same kind of deal here. Looks like we have a coarse thread. We're going to take this and throw it in the baggie with the other bolt. I'm not sure where I'll put this in the video, but this is your part number here. This is the correct brake switch, hydraulic brake switch here. This is the coarse thread, again M10 by 1.25. So once more here, you're going to need the M10 by 1.25 brake switch for the front and rear. So you only need one style. You need the coarse thread. So the link I'll have in the description box was the cheapest price I could find on these hydraulic switches. So they're coming in at right around like $6.50, which is dirt cheap. So you can get two of them for right around $15. Now, when you guys go to order these, you need to be extra careful because there is two options on this advertisement. There's the fine thread and the coarse thread. So you need to make sure you're ordering the coarse thread, which one more time is the M10 by 1.25. If I haven't said it before, these guys will be linked in the description box below. So if you're needing these switches, go check them out. There'll be links to Amazon, which is where I bought these from. Alrighty guys, so once again, clean up the area you're working with. Then you're going to take the new switch, put a washer on it, put it through the line that goes down to your caliper, and put the other washer on. Now you can start threading it in. At this point, you want to go ahead and remove or loosen up this elbow and pull it back. Hopefully you guys can see that, just so your wire can be straight and it's easier to thread in. And again, the wire needs to twist with the new brake switch, as you can see. So this is where the front brake switch gets a little tricky here. The original just had these couple plugs that it would plug into, just flat connectors. And of course we have this connector on here. So basically all you need to do is find some way to wire this to these two wires and you'll have a working switch. And of course, don't forget to bleed the front brakes as well after you install this little guy. All I'm gonna do to make this simple is just chop our wires right here. Simple as that. Cut the casing back. So you should have two wires like this. Just strip them back a little bit with a pair of these wire strippers. In the next clip, we're going to be installing a couple of these flat pin connectors. Put our connector on there and crimp it down. Okay, so you always give the good old tug test, and it looks like it's on there. So these, of course, are going to need some dielectric grease. So now we just got to find a place to tuck this in, and we'll be done. All right, so all we've done here is just kind of made a U shape, and the wire's just coming right back to the original harness there. So the last thing to do here is, of course, test out the switches. So we'll do the front brake first. Looks like it's working. Try the back brake, and it's working too. Well, guys, that's it for the brake switches. I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out that description box below. I'm going to have other Hawk videos linked down there, as well as the links to these hydraulic brake switches. If you guys are interested, again, go check out that description box below. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Woo!
It's all about humanity.